Assalamualaikum and very good day to Doctor. We are from Firm 2 of Group B and today we will be representing the pieces of evidence we analysed in the movie Our Witness for the Prosecution. Firstly, we're starting out with the summary of the movie. Leonard Voigt is the prime suspect in the murder of Emily French, a wealthy middle-aged widow who just altered her will and left him a large sum of money. Leonard is a veteran World War soldier who is married to his adored German wife Christine Helm Voigt. He is unemployed and suspected of seducing and killing Emily French in order to receive 80,000 pounds. Several witnesses, including his wife, were summoned. His unique alibi will be the testimony of his wife, Christine, which will not call for the defense. When details about their life are revealed throughout the trial, Christine is unexpectedly called to appear in court as the prosecution's witness. It is later discovered that Leonard Voigt did in fact murder Emily French.
What is on the agenda for today's discussion? From the film, we have identified the two most significant pieces of evidence against the accused, namely the housekeeper's testimony and the testimony of Miss Christina Voigt. Regarding evidence favoring the accused, there are also two key points: the accused's alibi as per his own testimony and Miss Christine Voigt's testimony about the letter to Max. In the following discussion, we will discuss based on the types of evidence, the relevancy and the admissibility, and also we made reference to both Evidence Act 1950 and common law principle.
One of the evidence against the accused was in the form of a testimony given by Miss Janet Mackenzie, which was the housekeeper, to prove the motive of the accused. In this scene, we can observe that there are two main types of evidence. One, the direct oral evidence, and secondly, circumstantial evidence to prove the motive of the accused. Section 61B of Evidence Act provides that oral evidence shall be in all cases, whatever be direct, that is to say, if it refers to a fact which could be heard, it must be the evidence of a witness who says he heard it. In this case, the witness heard the deceased discuss the production of a new will with her solicitor in presence of the accused 1 week before her death. Upon being asked by the prosecution about the deceased's will, the witness said that she had the old one revoked and a new one to be produced. She said that she heard the deceased discussing the matter with her solicitor in the presence of the accused. Upon being asked whether she heard the deceased discussing the will together with the accused, the witness answered yes and added that the accused were to inherit all the deceased's money. The witness also testified that this occurred a week before the deceased was found dead. Section 8 of the Evidence Act provides for motive. The evidence adduced by the prosecution is deemed to be relevant to prove the accused had motive in relation to the deceased's death. Although motive is not needed to prove fact in issue, it is a key piece of evidence to know that why the accused did the crime. Motive is also important in cases where evidence to prove the facts in issue are mostly circumstantial. This is quite similar in the case of Sunny Ang against PP. Accused was charged and convicted of murder of his girlfriend, despite the fact that the body was never been found. The facts adduced by the prosecution were so compelling that the court concluded that accused had motive to kill his girlfriend. Among the facts adduced were: accused was declared bankrupt a year prior, the deceased had a life insurance policy where the accused's mother was named as the beneficiary in some of the insurance policy. The deceased had made a will naming the accused mother as beneficiary, and less than 24 hours after the deceased's disappearance, the accused made a formal claim to the insurance company. As a general rule, relevancy is a condition precedent of admissibility. If the fact is indeed proven relevant, then it should be admissible subject to certain exceptions. This is provided inside Section 136(1) of our Evidence Act 1950, where the court is to decide the admissibility of the evidence, and if the court is of the opinion that the fact is indeed proven relevant, then it can be admissible. In this case, the evidence provided by Ms. Janet Mackenzie is admissible, although she had hearing problems. This is up to the court to determine the weightage of the evidence.
The next piece of substantial evidence against the accused would be the testimony given by the accused's wife, namely Miss Christine Voigt, in the movie. The testimony given would definitely be considered as direct oral evidence provided by the witness, Miss Christine, under oath in court during the trial. The oral evidence given is said to be direct by virtue of Section 60 of the Evidence Act 1950. Under this section, it expressly states that the oral evidence shall be direct, perceived by the witness using his or her own senses, based on what he or she sees, hear, and smell. In this instant case, it is notable that when the accused went home, Miss Christine saw that he returned by 10:10 at night, observed bloodstain on the jacket worn by the accused, and heard the accused say, "I have killed her." This oral evidence is considered direct and is based on what Christine herself saw and heard, rather than being told or reported to her by others, which is in line with Section 60 of the Evidence Act 1950. In fact, under English common law itself, the best evidence rule also stipulates that oral evidence would be the best evidence under the best evidence rule, as opposed to hearsay. In terms of relevancy, the relevant provisions pertaining to the testimony given by Ms. Christine will be Section 6 and Section 9 of the Evidence Act 1950. Ms. Christine's testimony introduced relevant facts to the facts in issue when she testified that the timing when the accused went back home was at 10:10 p.m., which was consistent with the timing when the victim was murdered by 9:30 p.m. Moreover, the bloodstain on the jacket worn by the accused suggests and support the inference that the victim herself was murdered by the accused. Furthermore, the confession made by the accused himself is considered relevant as it was made after the offense was committed by the accused, with such facts being relevant and forming part of the same transaction of the murder, which was connected with the fact in issue in today's case. As for admissibility, since that testimony was given orally by Ms. Christine herself, it is admissible in court under Section 136 of the Evidence Act 1950. On the basis that the oral evidence by Ms. Christine was proved to be relevant by the prosecution. Some might be contending that the statement, "I have killed her," by accused is not admissible as it is hearsay, as Christine did not actually witness the murder. Nonetheless, citing the case of PP against Subramaniam, the court held that it is hearsay if the evidence is adduced to prove the truth of that statement. At the same time, it is not hearsay and admissible if the evidence is adduced to prove the statement was in fact made.
Good day, Doctor. I'm Pokanman, metric number 279215. I'll be discussing regarding the evidence in favor of the accused, as well as its relevancy and admissibility. The first evidence is alibi by the accused's own testimony. It can be regarded as a circumstantial evidence, where it refers to any facts from the existence of which the judge may deduce the existence of the fact in issue. By applying the case of prosecutor versus Hadi Fasri Abdul Rahman, there were too many doubts and it may not be strong enough to establish a prima facie case. Regarding the relevant provision, we can refer to Section 11A of the Evidence Act 1950. In movie, the accused claimed that he has an alibi where he met a woman who can vouch for his whereabouts. However, the housekeeper said that she heard the victim and accused laughing together around 10 at night when she returned. And at the same time, the accused's wife also testified that the accused came back at 10:10 at night. Regarding the relevancy, we will analyze from two perspectives, which are Evidence Act 1950 and Common Law Principle. Firstly, from the perspective of Evidence Act 1950, we can refer to Section 11A. In the movie, it's relevant to prove because the facts tendered are inconsistent with the fact in issue. Leonard is accused of murdering a wealthy widow. He claimed to have an alibi, but the testimony given by the housekeeper and the accused's wife are inconsistent, raising the doubts about the reliability of his alibi. Therefore, the court must determine the credibility of the alibi and weigh it against any potential motives. From the perspective of common law principle, in this movie, the judge will only admit the evidence if the evidence tendered is relevant to the facts in issue. Regarding the admissibility, it is admissible. We can apply the case of Lee Kwai Hong and Sabaruddin and others versus prosecutor. Regarding the credibility of the witnesses, it was held that every evidence tendered has to be tested against the probability of the case. In this movie, the accused's own testimony is more reliable and it carries more weight than the evidence rendered by the housekeeper and the wife. The housekeeper has got a hearing issue, therefore her testimony will result in incompetency, while for the wife, she had violated so many oaths and she also disclosed that she lied in her previous testimony as the accused asked her to do so.
Good day. So for the second evidence in favor of the accused, it's the blue letter from the accused to Max. This falls under documentary evidence as the primary evidence, which can be seen in the case of Lucas versus Williams and Sons, where it emphasizes giving the primary evidence first compared to the secondary evidence, which will make the weightage of the case pretty good. Moving on, this can be seen in provisions of section 61 and 67. Why? Because 61 shows the importance of primary evidence. It also defines what is primary evidence. The letter therefore is also primary evidence. It is the original blue letter coming from the court, and also from the maker herself, where she admitted that she only writes blue letters to Max. And also as well by Christine admitting to the letter, therefore she's proven to be the one who wrote the letter to Max. Both sections very crucial in this case. Moving into the analysis, there's two. One is relevancy and as well the admissibility. So in relevancy, there's as well the Evidence Act and the common law. In the EA, short form for Evidence Act, section 62 and 67, it explains that it's very relevant, whereby Christine admitted that the blue letter are the one that she wrote to Max, which then was produced in court, making it the primary evidence as well as the original letter. And also Christine admits to be the maker to the letter, and it shows or proves that it was written by herself to Max. And by looking in the common law principle, the letter therefore is authentic. It has to be authentic and original. It shows genuineness and has all the elements of execution, which is the blue letter itself, which was stated in court. Last but not least, the admissibility. It is admissible under section 136 clause 1 of the Evidence Act. We can see in the case of KPM Hitmat versus Tay. So the letter falls in the ambit of best evidence rule. So what is the best evidence rule here is that the court now will look at the best evidence, where the primary evidence has to come first if there is the primary evidence. The original comes before the copy. So the issue arose when the white letter was not the exact letter that she admitted to, but the blue letter that she only admitted in the court where she write letters to Max. That statement summed up when the blue letters was pulled out from the court. Her emotions and actions proved that she was guilty. This as well proves the admissibility of the evidence, because it was the one that has the primary evidence source in the case. And as well, the admission from her makes herself the maker of the letter. Therefore, this evidence is admissible.
Reviewing the movie's evidence, it is crucial to compare its admissibility in Malaysian and English law. Initially, there was confusion about compelling spouse witnesses in the case of R against Lapworth, but the current stance is against compellability. In Malaysia, Section 120 allows a spouse as a witness in criminal cases, while Section 122 prevents compelling marital communications. Regarding Christine's testimony on I have killed her, its admissibility under the res gestae doctrine in both common law and Malaysian law is considered. This statement is admissible due to its spontaneity and close association with the event, aligning with English common law. Malaysia adopts this through Section 6 of the Evidence Act, showing partial alignment with common law principles. And that is all for our video presentation. Thank you.